terms of mortgage debt. It wants a mortgage that says an 8%. It wants that. Yeah, well, they want that. Although I do wonder if the new mortgage broker is at the home builder because they're extending mortgages that are a lot lower because they have the capital and it's like easier.
Good morning, Matt.
That's where the boom is, that's for sure. Equities right now on the S&P 500, just about unchanged. It's been a bumpy road with the monthly markets, which was there at 0.06%. In the bond market, you was a little bit lower by a couple of basis points. 4 million boards on a 10-year. You're enjoying it now. CIO of market strategy at Maryland Bank of America Private Bank. Joe, wonderful to have you back with us. It's been a while, sir. A bump in the road in the equity market. Is that a bump in the road you and the team want to buy?
Well, I'm going to be there still. Wednesday.
Good morning, Matt.
But to your point, competition is the government actually way back when had to go back and break up the monopolies. Same thing's almost happening.
Everything down to him that we.
Welcome back, Mayor.
It would really go well. I'm just, and I'm gonna, I don't have the. I might get in there. So.
Thank you.
Just gonna get rid of
sorry,
it. I don't know what got into me, but it was like, I'm tired of these boxes.
So you guys, how you doing your job?
Yeah, I know it is.
Okay, that's your attention. Good morning, everybody. I'm glad you're here. We've got a great program today with Julie Great. But we're going to start first with Brian now with our pledge of inspiration. Hi, Brian.
Thank you, man. Good morning. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, good morning. As Pam said, my name is Brian Noah, and as I was looking for something inspirational to share with all of you this morning, I came across a commencement address given by the governor of Illinois, Governor Pritzker, at the Northwestern University commencement this past spring. So I'll read this to you. If you want to be successful in this world, you have to develop your own idiot detection system. The best way to spot an idiot, look for the person who is cruel. When we see someone who doesn't look like us, or sound like us, or act like us, or love like us, or live like us, the first thought that crosses almost everyone's brain is rooted in either fear or judgment or both. We survived as a species by being suspicious of things we weren't familiar with. In order to be kind, we have to shut down that animal instinct and force our brain to travel a different pathway. Empathy and compassion are evolved states of being. They require the mental capacity to step past our most primal urges. When someone's path through this world is marked with acts of cruelty, they failed the first test of an advanced society. They never forced their animal brain to evolve past its first instinct. They never forged new mental pathways to overcome their own instinctual fears. And so their thinking and problem solving will lack the imagination and creativity that the kindest people have in spades. He goes on to say that over his many years in politics and business, he's found one thing to be universally true. The kindest person in the room is often the smartest. Pritzker's observations may sound nice, but it's also rooted in research. Numerous studies have found that people who have lower cognitive abilities are more likely to harbor bigoted beliefs about people who are different. So as I think about this, and I think about Rotarians and all of you and all the Rotarians around the world, I can't think of a nicer group of people doing so much good locally, globally, everywhere. So I can only conclude, therefore, that you're also the smartest people. So with that, all the things we think we need to do. Thank you.
Good job. Good morning, everyone. We have two guests today. Our speaker, District Governor Julie Gray. Welcome, Julie. And visiting Rotarian Tim Murphy from Medina Rotary. Welcome, Tim.
Right. Well, it's good to see everybody. I've got a couple of announcements for you. First of all, who knows about the world record that's going to be broken this weekend? Tom does. Anyone else? Chip does. You do. All right, here's the thing. If you haven't already heard about it, you have the opportunity to participate with the Rotary Club of Minnesota Vets on Lake Minnetonka. So on Saturday, there's going to be a big boat parade, and they're hoping to break the world's record of a boat parade. And it's your opportunity to float in a noodle thing and win for the most people in noodles on a lake connected together. Doesn't that sound like fun? So if you're interested, there'll be a link in the email that'll come home today. And I know they're having some sort of music too. I don't know if it'll be obviously a concert, but when and where. So check it out. It sounds like it's going to be fun. Then the only other announcement I know of is next week's our last concert. Crazy, huh? Scott or Maggie, do you want to say anything or any updates or?
Sign up sheets out, so.
Okay, make sure you probably got an email from Maggie this week about signing up for help. We need help obviously all the time. So make sure you get involved and do that. And we'll have a celebration, and then we'll be looking forward to Oktoberfest on September 30th. On September 30th, that'll be the next thing. So that's good. Who has stuff for the pig? Anyone? Come on up.
So, Tom Davis, I have a question. Can anybody figure out who the proud father of those two is up on the screen? Raise your hand if you think you know.
Maybe you.
All right, so as you all know, I've mentioned a number of times my son who's currently serving, and thanks to the veterans and all whatnot. But this sword arch brought this 212, big guy to my knees. Absolutely shut me down. It was so amazing. I walked out of, they do this after the ceremony. And I walked out and I just, cause my wife had my arm, and that was good, because I couldn't really see where I was going. But, my son Neil and his lovely bride Abby, after almost 11 years of dating, they are currently at their new house in Corpus Christi, where they'll be stationed for the next 3 years. And he'll be a flight instructor on the T6 XM2. So prayers for good students. Good luck. Thank you.
Katie Ellsberger, I work with Youth Exchange. I'm assigned to the host family. And Catherine Johnson, is having the welcome party for the exchange student Mimi from Brazil on August 24th, 5:30 to 7:30. And this is the sign-up sheet that attempted to go around the last meeting. So I'm sending it around again, so you can make sure to get your name on there if you're coming.
Good morning, I'm Suzanne Kachiver. Rotarians are notoriously wonderful at doing community service. There's also vocational service, however, and sometimes it's a lot more difficult to figure out how you're going to use your vocation in service in Rotary. So I have an opportunity for you. The Rotary Community Core at Lake Street, a project that we've been doing for 3 years, needs 3 different types of vocations. If website development is one of your skills, we need you. If the social media is one of your skills, we need you. And we need an administrative assistant as we move forward, because we're actually going to move into another part of Minneapolis now. So it's a project that's been moving forward. So I have $5 for this. I also want to make another announcement, and that is Doug has been very involved with an event that you might have actually seen on TV the other night. KGSP ran a story about one of the business owners on Lake Street that we have been working with. And it was a very interesting, this gentleman has a vision for building a Black cultural center in the site of the 3rd precinct. So thank you, Doug, for getting so involved in that, making that happen.
I missed my first, my first Rotary meeting last Wednesday, since I joined the club. But I was doing good things. The Lakeville Rotary Club, when I left, we had started a blood drive, an annual blood drive, a city-wide blood drive 6 years ago. And I think at the first drive, we had about 65 people. We broke our record last Wednesday and Thursday. 385 donors showed up for our blood drive. I mean, it's just, and it's the largest blood drive ever for Memorial Blood Center, but it's also the largest one for the state of Minnesota. So we're pretty proud of that. When I left that club, we were worried about what was going to happen because it was kind of the co-founder of this. And anyway, so I'm still committed to that, and I think I'm going to stay committed to it. It's quite an honor and a great group of people. So anyway. Good.
Right, well, and then neglected to tell you where Mark is this week. He is up on the North Shore with his family and needed a backup, so he got stuck with me, and that's the way it's going. So there you go. We're running ahead of schedule, and Karen, I wonder if you would like to come up and introduce Julie Grape, who's here to talk to us about what's going on in our district with Rotary.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Wolkowski, and I'm pleased and honored to be able to introduce a fellow Rotarian, our district leader, and my friend. Julie Grape has been a member of the Minneapolis City of Lakes Rotary since 2005, and is also an associate member of the Rotary Club of E-Club of Global Travelers. Get you to be an associate member of my club. Julie is honored to be the 2023-24 district governor. She loves being a Rotarian because it gives her the opportunity to travel, develop friendships, and make a difference in the world. Julie is an employment and employee benefits attorney with several decades of experience working in Fortune 100 companies, large law firms and large nonprofit organizations. In 2019, right before COVID, not the best thing, Julie opened her own law firm and provides practical, legal, and business advice to companies and nonprofit organizations. When not working or doing Rotary stuff, Julie loves to read, spend time with family and friends, and travel. Her most exciting trips have been hiking Mount Kilimanjaro and cruising Antarctica. I also have a personal story about the power and the joy of Rotary friendships and how Julie and I met. In 2017, like February or March, we both went to some women's or luncheon, Rotary luncheon, happened to sit next to each other. And we were talking about how we were both going to be going to the Atlanta Rotary International Convention. And we said, we started chatting, and I was talking about where my hotel was, and she was talking about where her hotel room was. And then she called me up the next day. She said, Karen, this is weird because we don't really know each other. But instead of paying for 2 hotel rooms, would you be interested or willing to share a room with me? So pretty much somebody I'd met for 2 months or had known for 2 months, we ended up rooming together at the Rotary International Convention in Atlanta. And we have been very good friends since. So it's my honor to introduce Julie Grape, our district governor.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, it is amazing how you just sit next to somebody and you find out you're almost best friends down the road. So that's Rotary, right? Well, it is so nice to be here with you all. Thank you for the warm welcome. I just have been hearing so many great things about your concert series this summer. So congratulations on that. I heard it's been just a great success, and I can only imagine how much work that takes. So thank you for doing that. Well, I am here. I think we can pull the agenda up. I'm here just to tell you a little bit about some Rotary International initiatives. Then I want to talk to you a little bit about some district initiatives, some important dates. And then at the end, I thought I would just tell you a little bit about why Rotary is so important to me. So I would like to introduce you on the next slide to our Rotary International President, Gordon McAnally. He's a retired dentist from Scotland and is one of the kindest, most fun people you would ever meet. I've had the opportunity of meeting him and talking to him in person a couple of times. And he's one of these people that just sits right down with you and wants to know what your club is doing and what kind of events are you doing. And just a fantastic, fantastic gentleman. I wish each and every one of you could meet him. And as you saw on the previous slide, his theme for the year is create hope in the world. And on the next slide, I just wanted to tell you about several initiatives that Rotary International is either continuing with or new initiatives for the year. So 3 of the things that Gordon has decided to continue from previous Rotary International presidents is empowering women and girls. This has been an initiative that's been going on for the past 3 or 4 years. Also, of course, polio eradication. We can't give that up now. 2 countries left with polio. And I hope that the district governor in 4 or 5 years can stand up here and not have to talk about polio at all. That would be my hope. And then finally, the thing that Gordon is really stressing for the year as a continuing objective is the focus on continuity. And why that's so important, as you all know, if you have been in your club leadership line, you've got some great things going on and you can't get them all done in 1 year. So Rotary International is modeling, and the district is trying to model too, about, don't just have a president, have a president-elect, and perhaps even if you can, a president nominee. So that team can get together and talk. And if the president nominee has a great idea, the other people in the leadership line and the club can start supporting that right away. So when that person gets to be club president, you can make that initiative happen. And Gordon's new focus, he has 2 new focuses for the year, and that's promoting peace and a focus on mental health. And his talk on promoting peace, I think there's a clip on it on the Rotary International website, is really interesting and powerful because he says that peace is so much more than the absence of war. And he said promoting peace, he thought, was perfect to go along with creating hope in the world. Because when you think of it, every single thing Rotary does promotes peace. Our youth exchange, our friendship exchanges, getting together for breakfast in the morning, working on service projects, developing relationships with the Lake Street businesses. I mean, every single thing that Rotary does promotes peace. When we promote peace, we create hope for a better world. So that is one of Gordon's new focuses for the year. And then also his second focus is his focus on mental health. And I really do encourage all of you to go out on the Rotary website, or if you'd like, I can send you the clip. There's like a 5-minute clip that where Gordon tells his story and why this is important. Basically, why his focus on mental health is so important to him is he lost his adult brother to suicide. And the family didn't know. They knew he was having some depression and mental health issues. They didn't know it was that deep. And Gordon said, if I ever get a platform, I'm gonna make sure that no family has to go through this. So he has just a really touching clip on that. So again, focusing on mental health is really hard. I've had people come up to me and say, what does that mean? What do we do? And the two things that Rotary International is hoping is that people just start having conversations around mental health, realizing, erasing the stigma, you can talk about it. And one of the things that the RI president said is go up to somebody and say, how are you? Well, we already do that, right? But this time with a focus on mental health, say, how are you really? And then listen to what they have to say. And then the second thing that he would like clubs to look at is there a way that we can help increase access to mental health or promote resources around mental health? So that is his hope for the next oncoming year and maybe years afterwards if the future Rotary International presidents keep it up. So now switching from the Rotary International to the district focus. Our district is District 5950. And my mom asked me, I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin and we don't have Rotary. We have the Lions Club, that's all we have. And so my mom asked me, are there really 5,950 districts in Rotary? And a really good question, but no, there's not. But our district is District 5950. And as district governor, I see that my purpose is twofold. One is to pass along Rotary information to district clubs. And then also, I think the district, more importantly, is here to do whatever we can to make clubs thrive. Now, you're already a thriving club, so it's fantastic to be here and not have to talk to you about certain things. But just know that we have volunteers at the district level that will do strategic planning and club visioning. If sometime down the road you feel like you just want a tighter focus, we've got people that can come in and help do that. We have membership engagement ideas, we have speaker ideas. We have people that can come and tell you about satellite clubs if you're interested in that, or impact clubs. So really what we want to do is be here to help, be a resource however we can. We have people that can help look over your bylaws. We have, if you have questions on the foundation. So we really want to be a resource however we can. Before I go into some of the district initiatives on the next slide, or on this slide, I just wanted to explain to you a little bit. Sometimes you hear about areas and zones and districts and it just gets all muddled in your head. So on the circle graph, you see that the bottom black one, well, you can't read it, but that's your club. That is the center of the world for you, is your Rotary Club. Then next from the Rotary Club is an area. You're in area 6, I believe. And there are areas, we have 11 areas in our district, and each one has an assistant governor. And there's 6 or 7 clubs in each area. And the areas are developed really so club presidents and president-elects can work together on projects that are geographically grouped. And then from the area goes the district. So there are 530 districts. So there's 529 of me talking to clubs all over the world right now. And then from our district, there's something called a zone. And on the other side of the map, on the colorful side, that is our zone. It goes from Texas all the way up to the top of Ontario, Canada. So really the center slice of the United States as our zone. And then from zones go to regions, and from regions go to Rotary International. So that just kind of gives you a little idea. Our district, for newer members, our district goes just to the northern part of the Twin Cities, stops at the Mississippi River. So our friends in St. Paul are in a different district, and then goes as far west as about Alexandria and down to Fairmont. So it's kind of the middle and western part of the state of Minnesota. So on the next slide, we will go into some of the, before I go into the district initiatives, I wanted to introduce you to the district governor line. And you will see all of us up there. Of course, I'm the first one on the left, district governor-elect. So the district governor starting next July is a wonderful woman named Sharon Bloodworth. She is from Minneapolis Club 9. Followed by another fantastic person, District Governor nominee Mark Shockey. And Mark Shockey is with the Rotary Club of Minnesota Veterans. Of course, we have to thank our immediate past District Governor Lloyd Campbell from Glenwood. And I think Glenwood changed their name now to Minnewaska. So Minnewaska. And then who in this room has been a past club president? How many do we have? Okay. So for everybody that raised your hand, that question mark could be you. We are looking for district governors for 26, 27. The requirements are to be a past club president and a Rotarian in good standing. So if you are interested, it's a fantastic experience. And if you're interested, the applications are due at the end of September. Before we move on to the initiatives, I would be remiss to not say also another person not on that slide is Alexa Runquist. Alexa is our executive director. She's the only paid staff member at the district. So she really is the glue that holds us together. We change every year, you know, as your club presidents do, we change every year. Alexa really is the one that does not change every year, make sure our tax things get filed, make sure that we as the district governor line do what we need to do each and every year. So she is an amazing resource. Now we will move on to the next slide and I will talk about some district initiatives. There's 4 things I wanted to mention to you that the district is focusing on this year. We are having, under the leadership of Jim Nelson from Minneapolis City of Lakes, we're having a new member orientation program that we're putting together at the district level. We hope to have it done this year so that we can pilot it in person and virtually. I don't think we're going to do it hybrid. I think we're going to do it one or the other. It seems to be a better experience for everyone. And what we're hoping is if the district has this, I don't know, 2.5 hour program on what is Rotary International, why should you attend the Rotary International Convention, what are all these acronyms, what's STRIVE, what's RILA, what's all of these things, and new members come to that. So your new members, you know, once or twice a year, we get all the new members together, and then they learn more about Rotary International. Maybe they'll hear about a project or a program that your club doesn't currently participate in, and they'll be interested in that. But we're trying to provide that service so that at your club level, you can really just take care of the club orientation. The next thing we're going to do is I'm working with somebody right now to try and plan this. All of us that are working and a lot of us who aren't working have LinkedIn profiles, but we've probably very few of us have been officially trained on how to write a really good LinkedIn profile. So I'm working with a LinkedIn guru, and we're going to have some training, probably online over the winter, on how to write a good LinkedIn profile that gets noticed. Then what we thought we would also do, as long as most of us are on LinkedIn, or a lot of us are on LinkedIn, is there some way we can all write our profiles in a similar way so that we can really use it as a business directory? I tell everybody that I would love to give every piece of my products or services that I need. I would like to get them all from Rotarians. My problem is I don't know what a lot of you do. So how cool would it be to be able to use LinkedIn or something like that as an online business directory? We're also promoting a new Zoom training program, a little bit deep dive into training called Staying Engaged. I've got a slide on that coming up, along with our Year of Service initiative. So on the next slide, you will see our monthly Zoom series. We're trying this, just a couple of little deep dives for people who are interested in specific topics. We have something called Staying Engaged. So the first Monday of every month, except for, I think, September, because it's a holiday, it'll be the next Monday. We have these half-an-hour programs called Staying Engaged. They're on Zoom. Anyone in the district can register for them. Just go to the district website to the calendar and register. They're obviously free. And we have somebody talk about a specific topic. Because October is October's World Polio Day. In September, we're having the speaker be Tim Mulcrone, who is the district Rotary Polio Coordinator. So feel free to sign up for those. Have anyone in your club sign up for them. We're hoping we get a big attendance. Our first one we had on our Year of Service project, and we had over 50 people online. So it's a great way. It only takes a half an hour to 45 minutes of your time. And then the second thing I wanted to promote is, again, Alexa Runquist, who I mentioned, is really, really good at Club Runner. I know just this much about Club Runner, and what I know of it, I'm not really pleased. I just think Club Runner is a little bit clunky and hard to use. Alexa knows all the ins and outs of Club Runner. And so what she plans on doing is once a month having a lunch and learn for 45 minutes, again on Zoom, anyone can come. The first one is coming up next week, and it's on managing your member profile. She is also going to do one on how do you use Club Runner to set up an event? How do you send group emails on Club Runner? Things like that. So if you are a person in your club that uses Club Runner, or if you're tasked with using it, or you want to learn how to use it better, again, sign up for those online. They're totally free, 45 minutes over lunch. And on the next slide, I wanted to talk to you a little bit. I don't know if many of you have heard about our Year of Service initiative. What we thought we would do is we just picked 4 areas of focus, one a quarter. And what we thought we would do is, we know that you all are already doing excellent. Every club is doing excellent projects. We're really good at doing projects. We're not as good about getting our story out. So what we thought we would do is try to do a service project, a district-wide service project every quarter. And then also accumulate what you all are doing so that we can put a quarterly bulletin out, or some sort of newsletter or press release that maybe we can get media to cover it. For example, the education and literacy, let's take that. My home club, City of Lakes, is the champion on that one. And what they decided they're going to do in November, and you'll all get more information on this, is they're going to have a book drive. And so you as a club could decide where those books go. They could be for little free libraries, they could be for senior citizens, they could be for preschool, wherever, and you have a book drive. So City of Lakes could have a book drive and we could donate 500 bucks. But what if District 5950 had a book drive and we donated 100,000 bucks? We thought maybe we could get more press on that. We could have press releases written for your local papers. So that is something we're going to try this year. Number one, to have a district-wide service project, because some of our smaller clubs are saying that after COVID, they haven't really gotten back into service projects like they used to. That would give them an opportunity. And number two, again, to try to accumulate the good things that we do, measure them, and then create an impact statement that we might be able to get out to the media more. So watch for more on that. And on the next slide, I want to go over just a couple of events that are coming up. You may know that our district conference, the district has a conference every year. It's typically been in the spring at the end of the year. Well, we decided we're going to switch it up a little this year and have it in the fall. We're going to have it at the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum on Saturday, October 14th. It's just going to be a one-day thing. And imagine, I mean, for those of you who've been at the Arboretum, what a more beautiful place to be than in the fall at the Arboretum. And before I signed the contract to rent the auditorium, I told the lady that I wouldn't sign it unless she guaranteed the weather would be perfect. And she said, no problem. So come, it's gonna be a great day. In the morning, we're gonna have a House of Friendship. We're gonna have an environmental service project. Our first quarter is on the environment. And then you're really free to explore the Arboretum. You can walk around. There's something called an amazing race that you can follow clues, and we're gonna have that available. You can take a tram ride. Just come in the morning and really enjoy the fellowship of each other in the Arboretum. Then we're gonna have lunch. In the afternoon, we're gonna have programming and happy hour, and we'll be out of there between 5:30 and 6. So our programming, I'm super duper excited. Remember how I said we're not that great at telling our stories? We were able to get Gail Rosenblum to come and speak to us. She's retired now from the Star Tribune, but she used to be the editor of the Inspired section. So she's the one that went around and found these human interest stories and told them in a way that everybody listened. So I called her and found out she no longer does this part. She now is on another amazing project. But she said, when she found out I was in Rotary, she said, I will change my schedule and I will do it because my mom was one of the first female Rotarians in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And she said, I was a fellowship exchange student, went to France, and she said, Rotary is near and dear to me. So she is going to come and teach us how to tell stories that get noticed. So that should be super fun. And then to try to promote or support the mental health aspect. I'm not sure if any of you read last month in the paper, there was an article in the Star Tribune again about a gentleman named Luke Wendland. And he was an executive at, I think, Thomson Reuters, and then worked at Hazelden and Betty Ford for a while. And he realized how much of a mental health crisis that a lot of people are in. And so he quit his job, started a company named Cadre, C-A-D-R-E. And it's a mental health and wellness app. And you can download it for free. I think there'll start to be a subscription charge, but for this year, it's free. And he's going to come and talk to us about his journey, why he built the app, and how he hopes it will help all of us. So that should be a fantastic program. So I hope to see you all there. Registration should open up in the next week or two. So, and then I think I have a slide about polio in here. I do, thank you. Just wanted to remind you that National or World Polio Day is on October 24th. It's a Tuesday. We are planning on having a polio happy hour event. We haven't gotten the details yet, but it will be at Surly Brewing. And so put that on your calendar. You're welcome to come. Again, it's a district-wide event, and we will be promoting polio. Surly has something called Nonprofit Tuesdays. We were so thrilled that the World Polio Day just happened to be on Tuesday. So we called them and they're like, sure, you can have a space for free. So we're there and we hope to get, the room holds up to 175 people. So we hope to see you there. Again, that more information will be coming out on that, but that's Tuesday, October 24th. And now in the remaining time I have, I thought I would tell you a little bit about myself and why Rotary is important to me. Up there, and you probably can't see it closely, but that is really my life on one slide. I grew up on a dairy farm in Wisconsin. I have 4 brothers, 2 older and 2 younger. So if you ever sit with me at a meal, I eat very quickly because if I didn't, I wouldn't have any food. I went to school at the University of Minnesota. I have a bachelor's degree in finance and a master's degree in human resources. Worked at some of the companies, you can see the logos up there. And then when I was at American Express working in human resources, every time I asked a question, they were like, go to legal, go ask legal, go ask legal, go ask legal. And I thought, well, I could just be legal. So I went to Mitchell Hamlin at night, worked during the day, got my law degree, and so ever since then have been an employment and employee benefits attorney, as you heard from what Karen said in my bio. I help human resource people with employee relations issues. I'm helping a lot of people now that there's a slew of new state laws that came in July. So I'm helping employers try to figure that out. And it is just a wonderful job. So I consider myself more of a counselor. I don't do any litigation, but I help companies, typically small to mid-sized companies, with all their HR and employee benefits issues. On the next slide, as you also heard in my bio, I like to travel. So on the next slide, the next couple of slides, I thought I'd show you a couple of pictures. The top one in the corner is I went to Cuba, and that was before, it's probably about 15 years ago, before a lot of people went to Cuba. And I went with a delegation of attorneys, and we started in Havana. we started every single meeting with a mojito. And I thought that would be a really good thing to bring home, but it didn't really work. So, but that was a great trip. In the bottom was my very first service trip. I was in Haiti, and our club had donated money to an organization called Haiti Outreach to drill wells. And so that was me and a bunch of kids hanging out there. In the top corner, as Karen had told you, I'm an associate member of the E-Club of Global Travelers. 2 years ago, we went out to Pasadena and we worked on the Rose Parade float. The day before the parade is when they put all the live flowers on. So that's what we did. Looks fun there. Actually, I spent 3.5 hours in cold water cutting flowers, and then but it was a great experience. And I didn't know Rotary International has a float in the parade in the Rose Bowl every year. This last year it won a big award. But because Rotary is international, RI doesn't give any money towards it. So there are, I think, 4 clubs in the Pasadena area that 100% of their fundraising for the year goes to pay for the float. The float is over $300,000. And so it's really fun, but I just wanted to bring that up and let you know that you can sign up for shifts. Rotary clubs, and I think even non-Rotary clubs, they start working on it in September, and they have shifts of 15 people. But we all went out, we were lucky enough to get the shift the day before, and that was awesome because then we could stay and watch the parade. But super cool experience. And then in the bottom is me at the top of Kilimanjaro. On the next slide, on the next page, is on the, let's see, that would be to your left, is Antarctica. I was grateful enough to be able to go on a cruise to Antarctica 1.5 years ago. It was a wonderful experience. It makes you feel very tiny and humble when you're down there. And on the other side, I also went on a fun trip with the Como Zoo. We went up to Churchill, Manitoba and watched the polar bears migrate. When I had put these together, I was laughing because I really hate winter and I hate being cold. So I don't know why I have so many cold weather adventures. So my next one's going to be warm. I'm going to Egypt over Thanksgiving, so that should be fun. So at this moment is when district governors usually tell you the Rotary story, the Rotary moment. And I really had a hard time because I don't really have a Rotary moment. I didn't give anybody, 2 drops of polio vaccine and save their life or anything meaningful like that. So I was trying to figure out, what do I tell you about why Rotary is so important to me? And I think it's really, my Rotary story is, Rotary is important to me because it's a great fit. And on the next slide, you'll see why. I don't know if you all are aware that Rotary does have core values. Those are on that side of the slide. And I know you probably can't really see those, but on the right-hand side of the slide are my personal values. And so what I realized is, as a farm kid, hard work, you're expected to figure it out on your own and don't give up. That's kind of what Rotarians do. I mean, think about when they took on polio. It's hard work. Everybody probably told them they're crazy. They figured it out and they're doing it. And so I guess my Rotary story would be that I started out as a club member and now I'm a Rotarian. And I would hope probably most of you in the room are Rotarians, but for those people who are club members, I would say get engaged. Work on projects. I mean, the meetings are great, but you're not going to make deep friendships, for 1 hour over breakfast every week. Travel. Karen and I would have never met each other had we not been on the RI or really got to know each other, or had we not gone on the Rotary International Convention together. So again, for me, I think it's just because you say yes. And then you find yourself, like I said, when I first started, I went to club meetings. It was great. Everybody seemed nice. 15 years later, most of my close friends are Rotarians. The people I go on vacation with are Rotarians. The people I hang out with are Rotarians. And it's just been such a big part of my life. And so my Rotary story is that I just want everyone to be able to be as lucky as I've been and experience that. Have a place where they really do feel like they belong and they fit in. So that's kind of my Rotary story. So on the next slide, I thought I would end with, every time you hear a district governor come, they talk about membership, the foundation, and public image. Whenever you go to a Rotary training, they talk about membership, the foundation, and public image. So I thought I would just tell you why those things are so important to me personally. Again, I said, I want everyone in Rotary to have, or I want everyone actually in the world to have the experience I've had in Rotary. You know, when you're on your computer, sometimes you've got those crazy things that pop up, like a top 10 list about this and a top 10 list about that. I clicked on one of those and it was called Top 10 Things That Won't Be Around in 25 Years. And Rotary was on that list. Actually, it said service clubs, and then it said Kiwanis, Lions, and Rotary. And it just broke my heart. It made me so sad to think that, number one, I don't believe it. But it made me so sad to think, can you imagine a world without Rotary? Can you imagine, I mean, the millions, billions of dollars over the years that have been donated, the hundreds of thousands of hours, the lives changed. I mean, we can't even think about even starting to measure everything that Rotary International has done. And so I think that's why membership is so important to me, is when I read that article, I was like hell, it's gonna be gone in 25 years. And I went out and started asking people to come to service projects. So I'm not a person that really asks people to come to meetings. A lot of my friends and colleagues don't get into sitting in meetings. And so what I do is I ask them to come to service projects. I ask them to come to galas or fundraisers. I ask them to come and help our club packs groceries for shut-ins. I ask them to come and do that. And then eventually, if they like that, then they realize, you know, the meetings aren't so bad. So, but just think about, you know, when you see people that you think would really fit in with Rotary's values, ask them to come to an event. Ask them to come to the happy hour at Surly. Ask them to come to a district-wide service project. Ask them to come to a meeting. That's great. But I find out a lot of people, my club meets at 7:30. Not quite as early as yours, but a lot of people are not morning people. So, but just remember that if we don't ask, people typically don't join. Once in a while, we get someone who wanders in and who just heard about it, or Rotary International gets a lead. But most of the time, it's because we've asked somebody. So please ask, and ask them to do fun things. Ask them to volunteer at your concert series. And then kind of once they get roped in and realize what an amazing organization is, then they usually decide to join on their own. The Rotary Foundation is important to me because of all of the good it does in the world. And it's really, I think of it as the power of multiplication. I'm sure all of you know that the way the district is able to give out grants is because of the money that went to the Rotary Foundation. So in 3 years, half of what the district gives comes back for district grants. So let me give you an example. This year, we have $338,000 that we can give out in international and local district grants. Where did we get that money? It's because the district as a whole donated over $600,000 to the Rotary Foundation 3 years ago. So that's where we get the money for the district grants. So that's why the foundation is so important to me. Not only does the money do good out there in the world, but half of it comes back to us. So again, it kind of coordinates with that membership thing. If our membership goes down, our giving probably goes down. If our giving goes down, it means we have less grants. So that's why I make sure that I give to the Rotary Foundation. And I know that a lot of clubs have their own foundations, and that's awesome. But I tell people, if you do have a little extra and you want to give it to the Rotary Foundation, TRF it's called, just know that half of that comes back to the district in 3 years. And then also wanted to just mention polio. I think you probably all know this too, but polio, the Gates Foundation, I used to say the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now I just say the Gates Foundation, matches 2 to 1. So if Rotary can generate $50 million, the Gates Foundation gives us $100 million. So we get $150 million a year for polio. Last year, we were short by 7 million. So the Rotary International Board of Trustees decided to take 7 million from the operating budget because you can't pass up that big a match. So again, and hopefully in 5 years, we won't be up here talking about this, but just know the power of multiplication and how that foundation works. And public image just kind of flows through in everything we do. Again, I think it's important to tell our stories, to get the word out there. I really do feel sometimes like Rotary is the best kept secret in the world, and I don't want it to be that way. So, you know, be proud of what you do, be happy about telling friends and colleagues what you do. And again, I never ask anybody to join, because most people are like, "Ugh, I don't want to join." But then they just get them involved in what we do. And even if they never join, they can be a supporter, they can be a partner, they can come and work on service projects with us. So that is my talk. In closing, I've got my contact information, and I'm happy to share this slide deck if anybody wants it too. I want Rotary to be a place where every single person feels like they belong, where every person promotes peace and creates hope in the world. So thank you for everything you do, what you've done, what you continue to do. And just know that your district is here to help however we can. Like I said, you are a thriving club, but if there's anything you think we can help with, any questions you have, or you want to get connected with a different club on something, just let us know. But thank you so much for your time and your attention this morning. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Does anybody have any questions for Julie?
So you mentioned membership. What is the state of the membership within the district?
The membership is slowly going down. I would say COVID was not kind to our membership. What we think with COVID is there were, you know, those people who maybe were on the fence about staying in Rotary or not seem to leave. We have about 2,400 Rotarians in our district right now. I think 5 years ago it was 3,000. So it is going down a little, but we're gonna see if we can break that trend.
Can't let this go. Where in Wisconsin did you grow up?
That's a small town. Sometimes it's on the map, sometimes it's not. It is about 50 miles northeast of Eau Claire. It's a little town called Lake Holcomb. Lake Holcomb.
From
Yep.
Menominee.
Oh, I drive past Menominee. I just drove past Menominee this week to see my mom. So yeah, it's really honestly like the lake is on the map, but the town normally isn't. When I use GPS, if I'm going to my mom's, it will say about 4 miles from my mom, you are entering uncharted territory. Thanks, everyone.
Julie, thank you very much for sharing an update on what's going on. It's great to hear what's going on internationally in our district and locally as well. So we really appreciate that. And I got a whole list of stuff that we got to be aware of. So I'll send that out to you later today. So next week Mark will be back, and it's going to be a fun week. We've got new members, sprint vocationals, which is always so much fun to hear about our new members and meet them. And then Tammy Schwartz is going to give us an update on the Rotary Foundation and give us a little bit more of a deep dive so we understand what that is and how we're involved and all that. So with that, anything else that anyone has for today? All right, go out, make it a great week. Thanks, everybody.